Hello everyone. In this session of CCNA series, I will do DHCP Snooping Lab. For that, I have used a simple topology wherein I have two clients connected to a switch and one router, and we are using one DHCP, legitimate DHCP server to assign IP addresses to client. So I have assigned the IP address 10.0.0.1/8 on the interface towards the client side, and towards the server side I have configured 20.0.0.1/8, that is on the interface 000. So I have configured the DHCP server to assign the IP addresses. I have configured a pool of 10.0.0.1, sorry, 10.0.0.100, and I have assigned the DNS IP. So client is able to successfully get the IP from DHCP server. I'm getting 100 on client 1 and 101 on client 2 along with the DNS. So to understand, actually everything, DHCP server is configured properly, the clients are getting IP address automatically, everything is working fine as a normal scenario. So to understand how DHCP snooping protects the network from an attacker or rogue DHCP server, let's add an attacker or add rogue DHCP server into the network. So let me connect it to the switch port. So I've had it. So let me add a DHCP pool for this DHCP server. Before that, let me configure one IP. I will configure static IP for this rogue DHCP server within the range, like for example 2. Okay, and then I'll configure the subnet mask and default gateway. I will configure the router, and the DNS I will configure it as 9.9.9 just to separate it from original DHCP server. So I will configure the pool, then I'll configure 10.0.0.200. DNS server will be 9.9.9. Sorry, gateway will be 200. No, gateway should be my IP of the IP of the DHCP rogue DHCP server, and the start IP will be 10.0.200. Subnet mask will be 255. Okay, and then save and enable the DHCP service. Before that, let me try to ping whether if I'm able to ping gateway or not. 10.0.0.0.1 I'm able to ping. So DHCP service is enabled. So let's go to the client and request for an IP. If you see now, I'm receiving the IP from the rogue DHCP server, and I'm getting the IP 9.9.9 as DHCP, and gateway is rogue DHCP server IP. Similarly, you can see now even this client is getting the IP address from the attacker. Now if the problem is if the DHCP client start using the IP provided by the attacker DHCP server without, the client might not know whether it is attacker, because the DHCP, when a client sends a DHCP discover message, as I said in the last session, whoever replies first, the client will be associated with that DHCP server, right? So the attacker will be smart enough to place the DHCP server nearest to the client. This type of attack is also known as man in the middle attack. Okay, so now let's go ahead and configure the switch to enable DHCP snooping. Okay, so by default the DHCP snooping is disabled. So there is no DHCP snooping configured on a switch. So let me go ahead and enable this first. To enable this, the command is IP DHCP snooping. Okay. Now we also need to enable DHCP snooping per VLAN. Currently, all our interfaces are under VLAN 1. So to enable this, command is IP DHCP snooping VLAN 1. Okay, so I have enabled it for VLAN 1. Then once you configure, it will put all the ports in untrusted. If you want to see, show IP DHCP snooping. Right now, there are no trusted ports. So let's go ahead and configure the port which is connected to the server, where we are expecting the server to be connected as trusted port. So FA0/1 will be our trusted port. IP DHCP command is IP DHCP snooping trust. There are trust. Okay, so once we configure this, we should not receive any DHCP messages from the attacker. It should take, if you see now, it's taking from the actual DHCP server where I have a DNS configured as 8.8.8. Again, if I re-request, if you request it 2-3 times also, it should get it from the actual DHCP server. With this, it proves that it is not accepting any IPs from the rogue DHCP server. So to verify this, if you see here, if you check the binding table, it will show you client has been assigned IP addresses on these 2 ports, and it has noted that in the binding table. Also, you can verify this by using show DHCP. This will give you more detail related to DHCP snooping. If you see now, it will show you which port is trusted and which ports are untrusted. So on the FA0/1, where we have our DHCP server accessible, it is trusted. Now if you see on the right, there is another option. For example, a client can send unlimited requests, right? So you can limit this as well, and the command for that is, for example, if you want to avoid any attacks where the client is sending unlimited request, FA0/3 IP DHCP snooping limit, you can limit it to like 5, 10, 15 is the standard option. So I will limit it to 1 minute. Rate, the command is 15. Okay, so now if you verify this, if you see now, the rate has been limited to 15. That's it for this session. I hope this was informative for you.